I'm JC.
And I'm Matt.
And we are the Beecher family. This is our first year at GCA. So our son Sam has never been a school lover. The middle school years have been challenging. At Sam's former school, we were struggling with some behavior issues, poor choices in friends, poor decisions in classrooms.
It was a challenge. It seemed like every day he was unfortunately in a bad mood. We knew we needed to make a change.
Then we started looking into GCA and were somewhat discouraged when we saw the wait list. But we put Sam on that wait list, hoping and praying that something might work itself out. GCA reached out to us that they possibly had an opening and they wanted to do a family interview. And we were so impressed with GCA from the get-go. From the time we walked into the initial meeting with the principal and he prayed over our family and was able to give us the encouragement we so desperately needed, where he felt that GCA was going to be a wonderful fit for Sam, and we are so grateful that he was correct. GCA was a breath of fresh air for our family. The environment, the culture, being surrounded by Christians, classes starting with prayer, practices starting with prayer. It's just an overall better mood at our house, lower stress. Mornings are much easier.
This year, almost all the time, he's pleasant. You know he's starting off on a better day than we have in years past. So I knew that this just was the place where Sam needed to be right now. And it turns out it's just gotten better as the year's gotten on. We're just really excited to see what's in the future for Sam, where God's going to take him.
He's just made us so proud with the adjustments he's made at a new school. And so it really has been life-changing for our entire family since he's come over to GCA. It's just been such a better path for Sam.
For our family, we currently have 4 students here at GCA. Our oldest is a 3rd grader, our second is a 1st grader, and then we have twins who are kindergartners here.
So when you think about the 4 pillars of GCA, you have your academics, spiritual formation, athletics, and fine arts. You think about like the foundation that you're setting for your kids.
We've been so encouraged in kind of the holistic offering GCA has, from the spiritual discipleship, but to the academic excellence, and then even extracurricular. You know, our family has really enjoyed being involved in athletics, and to watch my boys hanging out with their friends and talking about the future of what that could look like, you know, as a Cougar on the athletic fields here, that's an exciting thing. And so we don't feel like as a family, we've had to like sacrifice the other aspects of excellence in a school in order to have that education from like a solid biblical worldview perspective.
Something that has weighed heavily on me as a mom is the teachers, the school has a greater impact on them because they're with them for longer hours of a day. And so knowing that they're walking in here and they're being fed by the same word of God that we believe at home is something that like you really can't put a price tag on, especially with their ages, and it matters what they're being taught and what is being said and how they're filtering it in their little brains. As they continue to be poured into and have that foundation, they grow into the men and women of God that He's designed them to be, and how this place, this school, is helping shape them in the same way that we're discipling them at home.
You see the impact that this school is having, and it makes us all the more excited. Though we aren't wishing away these young years of our kids, it does make us all the more excited of what that looks like for them as middle schoolers and high schoolers one day.
My name is Patrick Boer. My wife Holly and I have 4 children that have all attended GCA and graduated from GCA. And we knew that there was no other place for our children to go to school. The environment, the fact that Christ was center was just very crucial to us and our family. And we knew that we were going to have to sacrifice on our end in order for our children to come to GCA, and we were willing to do that. When GCA transitioned from the vineyard over here to this new building at the time, I also was in the middle of a job change, and it was a very difficult financial season in our family's life. I approached the headmaster at the time and said, "What can you do to help me bridge the gap of our tuition, because we were beyond short?" And he said, "Well, this new building's going to be needed to be cleaned every night." And before vouchers and before they allowed other families to do that, I took care of this school every night. There were many nights when we had a young family with infants that Holly would be here with me cleaning. Our two oldest, Madison and Morgan, would be here vacuuming, emptying the trash, go home, go to bed, turn around, come back to here to go to school. But without that sacrifice, then there was no GCA for our family. We had to have conversations about, is this the best place for us? Is this worth it when we could go to public school for free? But I'm always reminded, on Christ the solid rock I stand. And I think we always came back to that as a family, that there was nothing more important than our children receiving a good education in a very solid Christian community like GCA. And when our children went to public universities and they saw kids that were coming out of public schools that didn't have that same Christ-like Christian worldview, it helped them to really understand how fortunate they were to attend a school like Greenwood Christian Academy. My hope is that 20 years from now, someone else will be able to sit here and say, GCA continued to grow and evolve. Administrators come and go, teachers come and go, students come and go, families come and go. But Christ is still the center of GCA. And with Christ, all things are possible.